Hello folks, welcome back. This is CCL Sports Cards and I am Christopher Davies. As promised, I'm launching my first ever episode dedicated solely to investing in hockey cards and the NHL. Because after all, as much as I love baseball, this is CCL Sports Cards. It's not to say I won't talk about baseball. I mean, that's obviously still happening. But I feel the hockey card market is underserved and it's very investable. For those that don't know, I am and always have been a fan of the Ottawa Senators, and in fact just took my kids to their first game at the Canadian Tire Centre over the March break in Ottawa. While the kids had a blast, the Senators lost handily to the Columbus Blue Jackets, but I'm used to that by now. And while I could be biased and talk about all the potential with the Sens and their young players and the likes of Josh Norris and Timmy Stützle, both of whom I hope have autos in Upper Deck's forthcoming SP Authentic, which releases in just a few weeks. I mean, I know that Kirill the Thrill has Future Watch autos in that, as does Bowen Byram. But those are featured on cardboardconnection.com. Anyhow, it's such a late release. However, because I can become sort of biased very easily with the players who play for my favorite teams, as any one of us can do from time to time, instead, I chose to look at Mitch Marner as the player to target and invest in. Now, to be clear, I do like the Leafs. They have such a dynamic team. And full disclosure, I actually worked for Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment for a decade. But back to Mitch Marner. I like him a lot. He's 24 and such a special talent. And because my son Lincoln is a Leafs fan, he even bought me a book about Mitch's life at his school's book fair last month. Anyways, Mitch has a good track record. He averages a point per game during his so far 6-year career, and hitting a high of 94 points in his 2018 campaign. And his previous career high in goals was 26, which also came in his 2018 campaign, which is impressive, but he will in all likelihood have a career high this season that he netted a pair just this past weekend against Nashville, tying his high of 26. I would imagine he's on pace for about 40 goals. A very admirable total. And again, because he is so consistent each year, for the past 6 years, and seems to be getting better and stronger each season, I sort of wondered to myself if I should invest in him at this point. His 2016 SP Authentic Future Watch card, which I view as the best option in terms of being a reasonable price when compared to, say, the Cup, which is the premier hockey product, but expensive. SP Authentic has excellent investability due to its scarcity, and its autos are limited just to 999 when talking about the Future Watch cards and prospects, which again, they are autographed. And this goes for any NHLer, not just Mitch, whose card has sold for anywhere between $2,300 and $2,600 over the last few months in PSA 10. To be clear, these figures are in Canadian dollars, folks. Now, I realize that Mitch perhaps benefits to a certain extent from playing on a line with Auston Matthews, akin to Leon Draisaitl getting to work with Connor McDavid every night in Edmonton. But I don't think that Mitch is great only because of who he's line mates with. If you look at his OHL stats, or at the very least borrow the book off me that my son bought for me, you'll realize Mitch is a talent all his own and a very special player. Mitch plays for the Leafs, which is obviously a huge hockey market. So that has certainly added a little bit of froth to the value of his cards. So much like the Yankees in baseball or the Bulls in the NBA, the team a player plays for affects collectability and value. I mean, I absolutely love Matt Duchene. He even played for my beloved Senators for 2 seasons. But playing for the Nashville Predators, who generally always seem to have a good team, hasn't really helped his cards recover to the value once seen when he was the 3rd overall pick in 2009 and spent 9 seasons with the Avalanche. I just picked up 2 of his SP Authentic Future Watch autos in PSA 10 for a total of $187 just this past weekend. $187 for 2. Yes, Matt Duchene, who is currently having a career year for the Predators with 32 goals and 31 assists, and is in the top 20 in scorers and is 10th in goals scored, And his cards are basically being given away. So the team a player plays for does very much impact collectability and price. We will see how things turn out for Duchene, but I like him a lot and feel his cards are just too cheap. But back to Mitchell Marner. He is talented, has good numbers, a good track record, and plays for a really, really good team. But that's sort of where I get off the Marner train, as it relates to his cards anyhow. And I'll tell you why. Unless, of course, his prices come way, way down, his card prices come down. Now, by saying I won't buy at these prices, that does not mean that his cards can't go even higher than they already are. If the Leafs win a cup, all bets are off. But I still wouldn't invest in his cards up here. I like my goats when it comes to hockey for this very reason. Whether for comparability as it relates to the price of young stars, or for long-term holds. And I'll use Steven Stamkos, who we can all agree will in all likelihood head to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Even if he hung up his skates tomorrow, he's going to the Hall. He has 2 Rocket Richard trophies, 2 Stanley Cups, 466 career goals, when this script was written, of course. Can he hit 500? Absolutely. Maybe even 600. So yeah, he's going to the Hall. And his 2008 SP Authentic Future Watch Auto and PSA 10 just sold on March 15th of this year for $1,100, less than half of Mitch's lowest comp over the last few months. Now again, I realize that Tampa Bay is not Leafs Nation, but I mean, a 100% premium against a guy with the resume of Stamkos? I can't get there no matter how much I like Marner, and I like him, but I just picked up a BGS True Gem Plus of Steven Stamkos and that card I mentioned for only $900, and I'll use the savings to pay for my case of 2020 SP Authentic when it hits the market in a couple of weeks. I think that Stamkos' SP Authentic cards have huge upside longer term, and for just $1,000 or thereabouts for a Gem and PSA 10 or a BGS 9.5, I'm a buyer. Even his Young Guns card, if your budget is a little lower than mine, he's just too cheap given all he's done. I like Mitch Marner a ton. I've said that. But for now, his cards are a no touch for me. Thank you so much for joining me, folks. As always, tell me in the comments below, who is your favorite current NHLer to invest in these days? Star-wise or up-and-comer like a rookie? I love the dialogue, so keep the comments coming. And thank you for the continually rising subscriptions. We are closing in on my next milestone of 500 subscribers. So if you haven't done so, be sure to hit that subscribe button on your way out. Have an awesome finish to your week, and go Sens go.